So we're just setting up the first exercise, which is going to be an incline press. Now, whenever looking at a program, usually there's a particular reason behind how a program is set up. And with the Daniel Craig workout, you'll notice there's a lot of upper chest movements. And the reason being, most likely, is because the upper chest is a little bit more difficult to build. The clavicular portion has less fibers than the lower portion, the sternocostal portion of the chest. So a lot of times it's easy to overdevelop your lower chest. So, not only we would recommend it, but also it's cool to see other trainers recommend starting off with the incline press and make sure you give some love and special attention to the upper chest to really build that symmetrical chest. Especially if you're gonna be shirtless in a movie and you're gonna have millions of people see your body, you wanna make sure you look damn good. And thankfully, Daniel Craig does look good, and his trainer did a good job of programming something that would develop a symmetrical body, a Bond body.
We're starting to feel a little nostalgic because Daniel Craig's about to have his final Bond movie be released. Kind of feels like yesterday when Casino Royale came out, and there was a little bit of hesitation. I know I was a little bit wary. You're thinking a new Bond, a blonde Bond. You kind of have the image in your head of the Sean Connery or even the Pierce Brosnan, the dark-haired, suave, sophisticated, but Daniel Craig brought a whole new element to the character. I loved it. I would have to say it's even my favorite Bond movie of all time, that being Casino Royale. I love the chemistry he had between himself and the character Vesper in the movie. And, in most of them, you have the Bond girl, they're coming out of the water. In this one, you had Daniel Craig coming out of the water, which actually turned out pretty good, because you saw him and you're like, holy shit, he is a buff dude. He put a lot of time getting that physique, and we're gonna be replicating that workout today. In addition to the movies, you also gotta have your favorite James Bond theme song. I gotta say mine's probably Nobody Does It Better. It's inspiring, it's got that vintage 1970s feel to it. Close second would be Chris Cornell. Came a little out of left field. I wouldn't have expected Chris Cornell to do a James Bond theme, but I thought he did a badass job.
So the goal of this is really try to get that bar right at the clavicle, hence hitting the clavicular portion of the chest. So really kind of getting that proper angle and also the motion too. So to kind of keep a good tempo while you're doing the exercise, performing the exercise, is really gonna help engage the muscles throughout that full 10 repetitions. So it might not be too heavy, but since that time under tension starts kicking in, nice fluid motions, no real pausing in between reps, it's gonna definitely feel a lot heavier. Just finished the incline press, and now we're on to the second exercise, which is gonna be pull-ups. Now, interestingly enough, like we were talking about earlier, where you kind of see what someone is trying to get by just looking, what they're trying to get out of their training by looking at their program. And pull-ups are a pretty hard exercise for a lot of people. So whenever you include something like this, it's going to be working on upper body strength, and seeing how Daniel Craig is involved in a lot of action, stunts. He's gonna need that upper body strength to not only throw punches, take punches, falls, but also pulling himself up on buildings, things of that nature. So of course pull-ups are gonna be involved. And we're gonna stick with the same rep range and set range, 4 sets of 10 repetitions. Here we go. Now, something that helps me whenever doing a pull-up is, as you're pulling yourself up, act like you're meeting your chest to the bar. And so that's gonna get a little bit more of your scapula to kind of squeeze back, you're in retract. Get a little bit more contraction in the lats. Kind of helps just with that not only positioning, but also really the engagement of the lats too. So pull-ups, definitely very good. Difficult, but good.
Performing the exercise is one thing, but that mental toughness is another. So even if you gotta be a little corny, imagine yourself as a 00 agent. Who cares? It's your own imagination. If that's what's able to power you through the workout, hell yeah, use that.
So on to the next exercise. This one is going to be a superset, which is performing one exercise and immediately performing another one without any rest between. The first one is going to be the inverted row, and immediately on to the incline push-up. So both of these are body weights, and the inverted row is actually a great alternative for pull-ups, essentially trying to build strength in the back to be able to perform your first pull-up. You can see here we have a preset dip bar we're going to be using, so we're really kind of DIYing it a little bit, but this is still going to be very effective. As you can see, being in kind of this plank position here, you can be pulling yourself up to the top position, slowly let back down. Using those lats, biceps as a secondary muscle group. You're gonna hit 10 repetitions. Whew. It's a lot harder than it looks. Okay, right on to the incline push-ups. As you can see, your body is in an incline position. So with this positioning in a push-up, you're actually putting a little bit more emphasis on that lower chest, more that sternocostal, in comparison as to an incline press, where you're pushing the weight up from the clavicle, which is then working on the clavicular portion. So that's what's great, is that the angles that you change is really gonna dictate where you feel it the most, or what focuses, what you put your focus on. Because as you know, there's a lot of different heads to certain muscle groups. You know, the chest, there's the sternocostal head and also the clavicular portion. So the angle of what you're pressing is gonna really change the focus. So it's great, and that's exactly what's showcased here with the incline push-up, is that it's actually focusing a little bit more on the lower chest, because we just hit the upper chest a little earlier. So, you know, it gotta be symmetrical. It's all about symmetry. Right, Bond? Bond? It's probably out saving the world or something, I don't know. With any isolation, you want to keep these a little bit lighter, because you're really, as the name explains, trying to isolate a certain muscle group, and in this case, it is the upper chest, the clavicular portion. And utilizing only one joint, you'll feel a little tension in the bicep to really kind of hold the position of the dumbbell. Just a slight bend in the elbow to really make it a little less stressful on the elbows. If you go like completely straight in your arms, you're really gonna feel that elbow under a lot of stress, so keep a bit of a bend in there. A lot of people say it's like imagining hugging a tree. You know, I'm sure there's other analogies you can use, but that's the most common one.
With this one, it goes in line with what Brendan was saying earlier as far as time under tension. You really don't want to try to rest the weights at the top position. You want to keep a little gap between the two, maybe about 6 inches, so you're just having that really fluid motion up and down, getting those 10 reps, and you're really feeling that tension on the upper chest the whole time, and it works because you're gonna feel it. By the end of those 10 reps, you're gonna feel like you just got in a fight with Jaws, Odd Job, and even Octopussy. You don't wanna get in a fight with Octopussy. It's messy. I'm really grossed out just thinking about it.
Oh yeah, last exercise of this workout is gonna be the straight arm pull downs. And this is really isolating the lats. It's actually one of our favorites to isolate the lats. And it's really kind of an alternative for, let's say, pullovers. It's really kind of hitting that same areas, not only the stratus anteriors, but the lats, a little bit in the chest, and you'll feel some activation in the triceps as well, maybe a little stretch in there for stabilization of the movement. But excellent isolation for the lats in particular. So I'm glad they recommend these. I'm glad they include these in the Daniel Craig workout because, well, we love them. So we love to do them. Thank you, Bond.
There we go. That wraps up the Daniel Craig James Bond workout. And thank you, Daniel Craig. You made a great Bond. Doubted you a little bit in the beginning, but all it took was Casino Royale. We were sold. Can't wait to watch the new movie and pretty excited to see where the series goes next. So let us know what kind of workouts you'd like to see. Superhero, more super spy. We're willing to do them. We love trying other people's workout programs. Hope you enjoy this one too. And until next time, stay Bond. I mean, stay buff. Yeah.